Hi, this is Ben Miller, game designer and campaign lead for Eye of the North. Guild Wars Eye of the North is our first true expansion because it is entirely created for existing Guild Wars players. We found that many of our players have continued to play Guild Wars in other campaigns for hundreds and thousands of hours, and what they want is more content for their existing toons. The content in Eye of the North is designed to give them just that, more for their existing high-level characters. This has been very exciting for us because whenever we released a new standalone campaign, we have to design new professions, starter armor, and tutorials. After creating 3 gigantic continents, we feel that the world of Guild Wars is big enough in scope and are excited to use Eye of the North to make that content deeper. We've made a number of enhancements to the Guild Wars engine to ensure that it is the best looking Guild Wars game ever. Our new shader effects make visuals like this forest fire possible. Eye of the North takes place in the continent of Pyria, the location of the original Guild Wars game. Set several years later, players get to learn what happened to the cultures and characters that they interacted with previously. Eye of the North is filled with all sorts of new ways for existing Guild Wars players to change the look and appearance of their existing characters. It comes with 40 full sets of armor across the 10 professions, including special, non-set pieces like those magma hands or the awesome ninja mask that are usable by any profession. The Eye of the North is an actual location in the game. Players don't start here, but once they reach it, it becomes a central hub around which most of their questing, trading, and interaction takes place. It is one of the largest buildings we have built yet in Guild Wars. Now, we announced Guild Wars 2 earlier this year, and in part of that, we announced that players would be able to play as other races for the first time. We wanted to introduce some of these races so that players could see what they were like and learn about them. In Eye of the North, some of these new races appear as heroes. In Guild Wars Nightfall, we introduced heroes. The cool thing is, even if you don't own Nightfall, purchasing Eye of the North will give you access to 10 new heroes you can unlock and use in prophecies and factions. You can equip their weapons and armor, select what skills they use, and even command them in battle. Here we have one of the heroes you can unlock in Eye of the North, Pyre Fierceshot, a Char. In the original Guild Wars, the Char were the main menace that threatened Ascalon. In Eye of the North, you will face them yet again. In each society, there are always outsiders, and in this case, Pyre has his own reasons for working with humans. Next we have Vek, who is an Asura. The Asura are an extremely powerful, magical, underground race that were driven to the surface by the appearance of the Destroyers, another of the menaces that players will learn about and fight in Eye of the North. The Asura are a highly intelligent race who aren't afraid to let you know how much smarter than you they are at every chance they get. Lastly, we have the beautiful Jorah, a Norn. More at home in the far Shiver Peaks, staring down a giant frostworm in a blizzard than in Lion's Arch or Kainang. The Norn make it very clear from the get-go, they don't have armies, they have heroes. Here's the Norn settlement of Gunner's Hold. Cultures play an important role in Eye of the North, and building one's reputation with a culture will yield many benefits. One of the ways to do this will be to play their mini-games. Playing these mini-games isn't required, but they add a lot of additional content for our players. The Norn are a warrior race. They value strength and combat, so their mini-game is the Norn Fighting Tournament. The call has gone out across the land for all the very best champions to compete in it. As a result, players will fight against heroes, henchmen, and villains from the previous 3 campaigns. The better you do in these minigames, the faster your reputation grows. This will unlock powerful consumable items, increase the effectiveness of the PvE-only skills they've taught you, and even give you access to unique armor sets. The Asura have been forced from their century-old dwellings beneath Tyria. They have made their new home along the Tarnished Coast. This is the southern area of what players will recognize as the Maguma jungle. Here we have an area known as Riven Earth. It is filled with ambient magic that the Asura have come to harness in order to battle the Destroyers. Putting their great minds together, they're able to build defenses like this golem. It siphons some of the magic from the land and is used to create the golems, a stone construct that they will use in their war against the Destroyers. As I said earlier, each race will have their own minigame that players can participate in, though they don't have to in order to complete any of the main storyline. The Asura, being an intelligent race, favor that over brute strength, so their minigame Polymach is more strategic in design. In Polymach, each player picks 3 pieces to compete with. Player strategies will revolve around choosing pieces that will counter what their opponents choose. These 3 pieces will have their own unique skill bars, and the player will be able to directly control them in battle. The player that defeats their opponent's 3 pieces will win. And think of it as a cross between live-action chess and Pokemon on steroids. When we release a new product, we always want to provide some exciting new ways to play the game. With Eye of the North, it's all about the dungeons. We want to provide a classic dungeon crawl experience for our players. There are 18 huge, multi-level dungeons for them to explore. They range from hallowed catacombs to fiery caves and icy caverns. Players will have to look out for various traps, puzzles to solve, and big bad boss monsters to defeat at the end of each dungeon. We want these areas to really be about exploring, so we are also including various tools that help the players delve deep into these dungeons without making them feel like they're railed along a certain path. There are level maps that they can find that will show locations on the mission map, such as boss rooms, dungeon keys, and other important stuff. Another thing about dungeons is that there is more than one way around many of the challenges. You can use PvE-only skills, existing skills, or even some clever thinking to outwit or just outfight just about any obstacle. Here we see some oozes, one of the many unique creatures you can fight in Eye of the North. Speaking of fighting, you just heard the music change as combat started. We created a new battle music engine that will change the music based upon what your character is doing. The music will change when entering combat, when you fight a boss monster, and will even mark when you're in a fight way above your head. We wanted the actual environments to act as your enemy as well as the monsters. You can see the type of synergy we try to create between the monsters and their environment. As you try to engage this fire elemental boss in combat, you and your party will have to dodge those gigantic fireballs being summoned from the fireplace at the very end of the hall, or you may end up dead. Finally, I want to tell you about the Hall of Monuments. Many of our players have put in hundreds and thousands of hours playing Guild Wars, and we didn't want them to feel that it was all for naught with the announced launch of Guild Wars 2. With the Hall of Monuments, we have created an environment where players can memorialize their achievements in Guild Wars and give them a leg up for Guild Wars 2. Each player will have their own Hall of Monuments that they can commemorate their accomplishments in. They will be able to invite in friends so that they can show off what they have achieved. The hall has 5 monuments in it. In the center is the Monument to Honor, which recognizes not only all the titles earned, but also various accomplishments, such as beating a campaign storyline. Here we have the Monument to Valor, where weapons, only obtainable through Eye of the North, are shown. Next, we have the Monument to Resilience, where a player can choose what ascended sets of armor, collected through the 3 original campaigns, can be displayed. To its left, we have the Monument of Fellowship, where the heroes that you have fought with or pets you have trained are evolved and fondly remembered. Finally, we have the Monument to Devotion, which will commemorate all those cute little mini pets that players have managed to win, collect, or otherwise obtain in Guild Wars. Each and every monument a player earns will equate to a special unlock in Guild Wars 2. There won't be any other way for players to get them. Unlocks will be for things such as new weapons, companions, attire, and mini-pets. We want a player who has accomplished great things in the original Guild Wars to be recognized immediately for those accomplishments in Guild Wars 2. These accomplishments will be active the day